guys, this week I'm doing another episode of Touch the Sky, a series where I try and help you reach your full potential across any dream that you might be trying to accomplish, whether it be to do with your health, your love life, your career. Basically just sharing some of the things that have worked for me in my own journey in realizing my dreams. I want to talk about the body, about being accepting of how we look. If I'm to be completely honest, I was a little reticent about approaching this subject because it is so personal, it's so delicate, and whenever you talk about body or self-esteem or confidence, you're laying yourself wide open to be misunderstood and judged and criticized, and I just could see all these negative comments coming up on my YouTube channel. But then I thought, you know what, who cares? It's worth it, because if one 13-year-old girl who's really struggling with how she feels about her body can get any kind of comfort from this video, then that's enough motivation for me. And I've been receiving so many emails lately from boys and girls, men and women, like people of all ages, all ethnicities. So many of you are struggling with this. I haven't got it all worked out. I still have those days where I cringe at seeing myself in the mirror, or I feel like every piece of clothing that I put on doesn't fit properly and my body is just not the shape I want it to be. But I think this is the point, is to dismantle that myth that there are people out there who never experience self-doubt. It's just not the case. Who among us has not had that moment of insecurity where we're rejected for some reason or another, be it in a romantic liaison or going for a job or even socially among friends? And even though intellectually we know it's wrong to think, to draw it back to the superficial, but we do think, is it because of my looks? So I made a list of the 5 things that I wish I'd known when I was a teenager and first started becoming aware of my body. And these 5 things are also things that I've told my younger sister Shannon over the years, really trying to help her deal with her own body issues. Coming to terms with our body and that idea of self-love is a work in progress. And I'm certainly not coming from a position of having it all worked out, but I can say that I have developed over the years, since I was a teenager to becoming an adult. I've definitely developed a much more sympathetic and loving relationship with my body, and I want that for you. Insecurity doesn't discriminate, it touches all of us. And this was one of the things that I found most difficult to believe when I was a teenager. I thought, yeah, but look, the fact is there are this group of really attractive people with the perfect bodies, and at the end of the day, life just must be easier for them. It must be. It was only after living in many different cultures and interviewing people from all walks of life as a journalist that I started to get a deeper understanding of the concept of beauty. Beauty is abstract. It is not a tangible thing. You can't hold it. You can't quantify it. Magazines, Hollywood, they try to make us believe that you can. Certainly with dress sizes, they can make you feel like, yeah, these are the sizes that are beautiful or acceptable. But we just constantly have to strive to remember that this is not the reality. When I was 17, 18 living in Japan, I found that there was a very different fashion style over there, and more broadly speaking, there was a very different concept of what is beautiful. And it was funny because the longer I spent there, the longer I started to suddenly see things as they saw things. I remember at the time there was this boy band and they were so revered, even I ended up falling for the hype, and they dyed their hair grey, and it was seen as so cool, so attractive. Grey hair, I mean, these young guys with grey hair. And it just sort of showed me just how easy it is to become, in a way, brainwashed by a whole society. And then after Japan, I went to live in Spain, and I found that the body shape that was adored over there, that was deemed sexy, was totally different from what the Japanese considered sexy. And it just made me realize you cannot standardize it. If I can just get on a plane, in one country I'm beautiful, in another country I'm ugly, in another country I'm just nondescript. It made me realize that I've just got to focus on the one thing that doesn't change, not the fashion trends, not the culture, not my location or the people that are around me, but me. me in this body. Yes, it's true that some people receive more compliments on a daily basis than others. That's just a fact. That's a reality. They might receive more Instagram likes, more validation, right? But the way I can explain it to you is, you know how when you're going through a breakup, or perhaps you have feelings for someone and they're not reciprocated and you're feeling really depressed, your loved ones, your family, your friends around you can shower you with compliments. And unfortunately, I don't know if this is the case for you, but I found it with myself and my friends, we don't hear any of these beautiful words, any of this positivity, because for us, we are focused on the compliment that didn't come from that one person. And it's annoying, it's frustrating, and obviously the more enlightened state to be in is to not be so hung up on the opinion of just one person. And deep down we know it's wrong, and we know that we have so much more to offer a person or the world than just our looks. But in that moment of insecurity, of rejection, it's very hard to focus on anything else but the lack of validation that is coming from that one person. So I would urge you to consider it like this. The next time you see someone who looks like they have such an easy life, maybe they're a friend that you're a little bit jealous of, or someone on Instagram that you don't even know. It seems like they have it so easy, but trust me, every one of us has that one person that hasn't reciprocated our feelings, or that has made us feel insecure in some way, and we're all going through that same experience of self-doubt. You can never know what's going through someone's mind unless you're literally in their body. You guys know that I love Instagram. I am a creative person. I'm an artist, so I love that wash of shapes and colors and tones and that visual stimulation. And I find it incredibly inspiring. But I guess there is also a risk, obviously everyone's talked about it, that you can see an edited version of people's lives. I don't know, I think that it depends who you follow. There are certainly some people out there who are trying to show you behind the scenes of their life, of their work, so that it's a little bit more balanced. I'm certainly trying to do that, like with my Insta stories and with videos like this. It's funny, isn't it? Because we all take photos of ourselves these days with our phone, and we very rarely take just one shot and like that first shot and post that first shot. I mean, I don't know anyone who does. Even when you take a photo of a stranger in the street, I mean, invariably I will always take multiple shots, because I say, oh, well then you can choose which one you like, because we know it is human nature to scrutinize that one shot and say, I don't like it. And so we want to give people options. We all need options, because very few of us are so photogenic that we can take one shot and it can come out the first time. If you guys could see the amount of shots that I delete that have cellulite, wrinkles, big bags under my eyes, I look bloated, sometimes I look like I'm pregnant. I mean, it's just, there are so many. And now what I'm putting out on social media is not fake, it's not airbrushed or photoshopped, it's still me, it's just one side of me. And I think it's important to remember that we're all these three-dimensional bodies, and in some light we all look hideous, because I know just how dramatically things can change when you use a different lens or a different light or angle the camera in a certain way. When I see a beautiful photo of someone, I'm more inclined to think, oh, what a great photographer, like what great photography, rather than what a beautiful person, because really so much can change depending on who is shooting and how they're shooting it. Okay, so there are still the cynics among you who are saying, yes, but Kylie, there are some people who just have phenomenal bone structure, or have, are 6 foot tall, and you can't debate that. They are just genetically blessed. Yes, of course there are. But let's move on to the next point, which is beauty attracts, boredom subtracts. What do I mean by this? Look, this is something that you almost have to experience to believe, but over the years it's something that I have seen time and time again. Of course, someone who's hot, they grab our attention. Our eyes just go across, even if you're with a partner sometimes, someone who's beautiful will walk across a street, even someone of the same gender, and and our eyes will just be drawn to them because we're taking them all in, and we're curious, or maybe we're attracted to them. But it is only after being a bit older and having several relationships that you realize that beauty cannot keep someone. It really can't. If you're a bit younger and you're yet to experience long-term serious relationships where you're living with a partner, you're eating with them day in, day out, you're socializing with them, you're traveling with them, you're helping them with their work. Let me tell you, in all of those situations, beauty matters very little. What starts to become the main priority is, what do they have to say to you? How do they treat you? How do they support you? I mean, these things end up determining whether you're attracted to them or not. And maybe it's just my case, but I don't know. I mean, this is what my friends tell me as well. I've been on dates with super hot guys. I mean, guys who the waitress will come over to take our order and she is like nervous and intimidated, and because he is that good looking. But I can tell you, when you're the person that sat there at the table with them for a whole meal and they have nothing interesting to say to you, and they don't make you laugh, or they're rude to people around you so you don't like their manners, I mean, suddenly you start to see them as the ugliest person. I'm hearing the words come out of my mouth and I'm thinking, this sounds like such a cliche, you're not going to believe this, but the truth is that the times I've felt most drawn to someone physically is when I've had that connection emotionally and intellectually. Sure, someone can get your attention just with how they look, but getting your attention is like such a small part of the puzzle. It's just the very first step, and it will not be the foundation for a relationship. It's just not enough. And now I feel like I can recognize it in people who are a lot younger, or people who are older but have not been fortunate enough to experience that in a relationship. They're still very fixated on the superficial, on what people look like, because they don't know how great it can be to experience someone who understands you intimately, deeply, who knows you to your core. There is nothing sexier than that. And once you've had it, it's almost like you can't go back. Once you've had it, then you're less sort of swayed by beauty or the physical, because you know that there's a whole other level which is so much better, so much more gratifying, and then that's what becomes more important. What turns us on is psychological. It is so complicated. It is this mix of elements, from our culture to our childhood, movies that we've seen, our first sexual experience with someone. So I guarantee you there is enough diversity of taste out there that no matter what you look like, no matter what shape your body is, there is someone out there who is turned on by it. Think about it in other aspects of our life concerning taste. You can take someone who has the same socioeconomic background, they kind of look similar to you, they're the same, and yet you play a song and you get goosebumps and you feel like you're just euphoric listening to it, and you can play it for them and say, listen to this, and they just feel nothing. Equally with food, why do some people finish a meal and they are just dying for something sweet? They have that sweet tooth, and other people have no craving whatsoever. They're just fine. They're not really drawn to desserts. I mean, this is the beauty of humanity, that we have such diversity. And it's funny because we see these examples of diversity of taste in every other aspect of our life, and yet we refuse to believe it when it comes to our romantic life, that okay, there is someone out there who will be attracted to what I have. The other thing that I didn't really understand when I was a teenager, that I learned growing up, is that the most fulfilling physical relationships are those where you can feel the most relaxed. Because in order to feel the most turned on, in order to be playful and cheeky and creative and experimental, you need to feel comfortable and yourself and relaxed. If it doesn't matter how good looking the person is, if they make you feel anxious, if they don't make you feel like yourself, like you can just play and be childlike, then you're not going to have a sexually fulfilling experience. And I think that this is a very important lesson to learn. Beauty is great, but I think people learn very quickly what is more captivating, what is more addictive, is that person who makes you feel like you can do anything without judgment, that there is that level of trust, that you can be emotionally and literally naked in front of them, and just have fun and seek pleasure together, and that is something which is on another level. My final piece of advice would be to become friends with yourself. Now, I know it sounds a bit corny and you're probably rolling your eyes, but actually there's nothing corny about it, because this can give you the greatest strength you've ever experienced. I remember being in high school and when I was experiencing a lot of bullying, and I had this moment where I thought, hang on, this body, this face, like this vessel that I'm traveling around in, I mean, I'm going to have it for a lifetime. So imagine what an advantage I will have if I become friends with her, if I get in touch with her and support her and nurture her. And I think that a lot of us are super kind when it comes to comforting our friends and our loved ones, our family, and yet we never show that same level of kindness to ourselves. You think about some of the horrible things we tell ourselves in our darkest hour, in our moment of anxiety. He left you because you're fat. She left you because you're ugly. I mean, we would never say these things to a dear friend, right? And yet we need to treat our body, ourself, like a friend, because this is going to give us tremendous power, tremendous confidence, tremendous freedom. I think that's the most important thing. We invest so much time and money and effort and emotional tolerance with other relationships in our life. And what about our relationship with ourselves? Because this actually is going to affect all those other relationships. When you have that beautiful, healthy sort of dialogue with your body and that, you know, that self-acceptance, you become a better person to be around, because let's face it, when we're insecure, we become negative, we become mean, we become jealous. I've spoken about this a lot on Instagram, my relationship with exercise. Of course, one of the initial reasons I like to exercise is to lose weight or to maintain weight, but I found something which is so much more addictive and so much more powerful is this feeling of being strong, like physically strong, so that I have the energy and the like power to, you know, carry all my film equipment and travel around the world and work really long hours and pack so much into my life so that I can go on all these adventures and accomplish all these dreams. And I'm telling you, if I wasn't physically fit and if I didn't feel this mental release every time I go for a run, I wouldn't be able to do all the things that I've done. I wouldn't be able to have such a hectic lifestyle or to do everything that I do alone independently. I think it's about finding those activities which remind you of that deep gratitude for your body's strength, your body's health, the fact that your body is alive and mobile. You know, every week I get hundreds of emails from people who have seen my TV shows or watch my YouTube channel or follow me on social media, and I know I'm not a big deal, I'm not famous or anything, but I do get a lot of people saying they admire the things I've achieved, and these things they're referring to have nothing to do with my looks. They're talking about, you know, I admire you moving to a foreign speaking country and being away from your family, becoming fluent in a foreign language. I mean, when you're learning Japanese or Italian, it doesn't matter how much you weigh, it is about dedication and hard work. You know, when pitching to brands, you know, or producing my own TV show, I mean, every pitch I've ever done to a brand, to a business, to a TV network has always begun with an email. And in that case, your physical appearance doesn't matter at all. It is about how articulate you are, how well you've researched that business, how well you understand their objectives, how sort of original your ideas are. So I guess what I want to communicate to you is that yes, we all have days where we feel down about our appearance. That is normal, it is human. Don't beat yourself up about it. It happens to me too. But don't let your physical appearance be a barrier to you going out and achieving your goals and living life to the fullest. Sure, there are people who get ahead in life just based on their looks, but the people I've known who have relationships and businesses that I admire, who have success that really endures, are those who are much more focused on hard work and dedication and treating those around them with kindness. I hope you agree. Please give this a thumbs up if you do agree, and thank you for watching. Leave some comments below if you have your own advice for how to deal with body issues, because you never know who it might help. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye.